Hello, everybody. Happy Friday to you, September 19th, 2025. This is Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM. I don't know, I may have gotten those backwards. TJ Walker here in the studio solo, but across the cement wall is one producer, Matt, joining us for our Friday Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio. Producer Matt, how are you?
I'm doing great, TJ. How you doing today, man? How's your day been?
It's one of those days where you wake up, you think it's going to be like a little lighter day, which you love to have on a Friday. It's just busy enough, but not swamped. And you when you get older, or maybe even when you're younger, you appreciate those Fridays. It was always big in college to try to not have classes on Friday. That was that was a priority for sure. And then you get into the day and you're like, oh, actually, I'm a little busier than I thought. But getting stuff done, and but still not too swamped. So it's going well. A little busier than I was anticipating, but it's a great day. It's a great Friday, September 19th, 2025, Friday edition of Kentucky Roll Call. How was your Thursday, producer Matt, and how's your Friday? How's Big X Sports Radio been this morning?
This morning's been pretty good. Been pretty chill. Just the cat. I don't know why I was just blank. I got some brain fog today. It's been a long day already. Long night last night. Just the Cats this morning was a lot of fun. You know, it's always fun doing that show with Michael and Justin. Last night was really good little Thursday night. Went over to the girlfriend's house, made dinner for her and her family. Watched the.
Whoa! You made dinner for the entire family?
Yeah, we do it about once a week. We try and do it every Wednesday or Thursday. It's just a lot of fun.
So you and the girlfriend will cook up a meal for the entire fam?
Yes, we do.
How long has that been going on?
About a month and a half, maybe 3 or 4 months now.
How long have you been dating your girlfriend?
Since January.
Since January. So you're 9 months in and you're cooking dinner regularly for the family?
Yes.
Whoa. Wow.
It's a fun time. I love cooking. The feeling that I get whenever I make food and somebody loves it is just it's top tier.
Well, that's great. I wish I could cook. It was actually, I think it's incredibly attractive for my wife that she is a great cook and likes to eat too, which I'm appreciative of. And so that I wish I could. And someday I will, or someday I'll get a little bit better at it. I'm not there right now, though. We are on YouTube, everybody. We're back on YouTube. And I wish I would have recorded it. I gave producer Matt and again, producer Matt and I, we've really only known each other existed, or at least I don't know, for maybe a month. Maybe it's longer than that. Ignore me if I've got some of the dates and timelines wrong, producer Matt. But we've only been working together in a radio capacity, even less than that. And then even then, the interactions are only 2-hour interactions, and they're kind of split on that even for the 2 hours. So point being, I'm getting to know producer Matt. He's getting to know me. I've liked everything I've gotten to know so far. I think he is smart. It's a bummer that he's a Louisville fan, but we can look past that. I've enjoyed him on Just the Cats when I've been able to listen and hear him there. I think you work hard. I think you've got the right mindset in this business and in this industry, and you're saying yes to a lot of things, and all that's great, and that's what you should be doing at your age. What is your age? You want to say that one more time?
26.
26. Okay. So you're not it's not like you're getting college credits right now or anything like that, but you're also got your whole life ahead of you, producer Matt. I'm only 8 years older. It's not like I'm talking down on the youths of America or anything like that. But I go into the studio and I'm like, yeah, maybe we do the YouTube cameras today. And no Hoosier Report, but if I'd known there was no Hoosier Report today, I would have tried to get over a little bit earlier and would have tried to set up the YouTube cameras, because Kentucky Roll Call has not used the YouTube cameras for 2 months maybe? I don't know. After flirting with it a great deal this summer and early this summer, and truthfully having a pretty fun time with it. I think I was the only person having a fun time with it. But having a fun time with it, they told us no more YouTube. And then all of a sudden all the other shows are back on YouTube, and Old Kentucky Roll Call wasn't.
Yeah, there was something wrong with like the computer, like the YouTube was run through in the studio here, and they just like fixed it one day. I came in, and then I think it was like the Mike Rutherford show was using it again. I was like, oh, this is back, and they were like, yeah, they fixed it like yesterday, and it was like 2-3 weeks ago.
Gotcha. So I told producer Matt, and again, he is a producer, so he can produce the show. I was pushed into the producer role when we moved from 7 to 9 to noon to 2. All right, you can go noon to 2, but you're going to have to learn how to produce because there's not going to be a producer for that time when we were having these conversations about a year ago. And I actually have come to enjoy producing. I like the creative control that goes into it. I know it probably annoys some of our listeners when I'll play a silly song or something along those lines or play just background music that they don't appreciate. But I've enjoyed it. And really, at the end of the day, that's all that matters, not the quality or content of this radio show, my personal feelings. And, of course, I'm being facetious. But long story long, I go into the studio room. I'm like, all right, we're back on YouTube. I hate the template of the Big X Sports Radio YouTube page. I just think it's as boring as it gets. So I told producer Matt, back when we used to be on it, I added a bunch of silly little pictures of kittens and DeAndre Liggins and Scoots holding a turtle, and there was a bunch of just different pictures. And I was like, I don't have time to do this right now because the show's about to start, but during the broadcast, producer Matt, start adding pictures as the show goes on, and it's going to be fun to monitor his progress. There really wasn't any blank space, producer Matt, just to let you know what we were working with. You see all like the black on the bottom near the Gameday Men's Health? We had 12 pictures there. The live in studio, that would be long gone. Get that the hell out. We're going to be at 5 Iron Golf Range next Thursday. I would have a picture of that up there. We're going to be at Salsaritas a week from today. 5 Iron in Nulu, by the way. If you haven't been there, check it out. If you haven't been there and you want to check it out and you want to save it for Thursday, so you're going to be with the Big X Sports Radio crew out there, that'd be a perfect time to check it out. That is next Thursday, 5 Iron Golf. You checked out Salsaritas last week, earlier this week, I should say. How long is this week? What day is it? What year is it? We're going to be back again a week from today, St. X Trinity game day. No better way than to start it at Salsaritas, St. Matthews, a week from today. Though I use the YouTube page, producer Matt, basically as a bulletin of what's going on with the show, inside jokes, but also here's where we're going to be, here's where we're going in the future. So there is your YouTube 101 when working with Kentucky Roll Call, producer Matt. So I look forward to seeing the updates. He's already got a Billy Shrings picture on there, so we're off to a good start on a Billy Shrings Friday. Love that. Billy Shrings, anytime I see him, I'm always just like, that's not Billy. Oh, yeah, it is Billy Shrings. You see him, and he just doesn't match what I would think that he sounds like, his music sounds like, whatever it may be. Getting some YouTube commenters, local John and Clayton, saying welcome back. We appreciate it. Good to see you in here. I need to tweet this out. But we are back on the old YouTube, and we are excited about that. We'll get it looking a little bit more up to my liking. We do have a fun show planned for you today. A lot to get to. Preview college football, preview some NFL. We'll do that more likely in hour number 2. We like to do our afternoon delights to start the show. One of my afternoon delights also so happens to be sports related. So that works out well. It's something that producer Matt has already talked about today. But part of my Thursday evening, producer Matt, was taking in the UK and U of L volleyball match. I actually had to go to like a safe training sexual abuse class so I can chaperone my daughter.
I was going to say, what's the backstory behind this?
To like at my daughter's school, to be able to do like anything within the school, you got to go take this class. And oh my god, it was packed, producer Matt. It was bumping. I ran in. That's how you know you're getting old. Is like when I haven't seen somebody in a few months and I run into them at the child safety meeting class at my local church. I was like, hey, how have you been? What's up? It's like, oh, no, we're old. This is how we're catching up. We're old. It's official. We're old. But the class was electric. It was great. I learned a lot of great things. In all seriousness, pretty sad class. It just makes you sick knowing that there's sick people out there. But that's not necessarily a surprise. But when I got back from that, I was following along on my phone. The volleyball match. I was able to watch the first set. Then I had to go to this meeting was following along, and by the time I got out of it, it was like the fourth set or something like that, somewhere along those lines. Kentucky gets the win in 5. They lose the first one, come back, win the second one, lose the third, and then dominate the fourth and the fifth set to come away with another top 10 win for UK women's volleyball. Kentucky's first win over Louisville since 2019. That's ridiculous. That shouldn't be the case. This is coming from my buddy Wildcat's tongue. Last night, Louisville held a 2-0 lead in the fourth set and held a 2-1 set lead in the match. From that point on, Kentucky scored 12 of the next 14 points and outscored Louisville 40-17 to clinch the win. So, come the fourth set, the Cats turned it on, did not look back. Great win for UK women's volleyball. To have 3 top 10 wins this early in the season without even getting into conference play, that's incredible for Craig Skinner. 2 of those top 10 wins coming on the road in true road atmospheres. 2 of the losses on neutral sites. According to Wildcat's tongue, 11 sets won against those top 10 opponents to 9 sets dropped. So it's an incredible start. They are, unless they just totally collapse in SEC play, the conference that they've won, 5 years in a row, 6 years in a row? Texas wasn't able to stop that. So unless they totally just collapse in conference, UK is looking very strong early in this season for a 1 or 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, which is great. If you want that group to get back to a Final Four, compete for a national championship. Producer Matt, Danny Busboom Kelly is out of town, and this rivalry is back where it belongs, belonging to the blue.
Where it belongs, huh? I mean, after 4 in a row, we kind of had to give y'all at least one, I guess, Had to help the little brother out a little bit.
Louisville's volleyball program, since Kentucky's COVID national championship, it had just been better. It had just been better than UK's. Hopefully this is a sign that things are returning to normal. Nature is healing. But it was an electric atmosphere at the KFC Yum Center, over 11,000 people. That's great for volleyball in this town. That's great for volleyball in this community. I think both programs aren't going to go anywhere anytime soon. And then after kind of feeling each other out in the first 2 sets, the third set was super competitive. Kentucky really had no business dropping that one. And then they just kind of imposed their will with a 25-12 win in the fourth set, and then doubling up the cards in the fifth and final set, 15-7. But that was good. That was fun, entertaining. If you haven't checked out women's volleyball, are you living under a rock? What are you doing? You should check it out. But that made up most of my sports Thursday night. I did stay up as late as I could for that Dolphins-Bills game. Did you watch any of it, or were you clear? Were you doing dishes from the dinner with the family?
We have an agreement set up where, since we cooked that day, her family does the dishes. So it's pretty nice, We get to have a nice meal, and then I got to go watch the rest of the volleyball game. And then after halftime, I watched the Jalen Wild touchdown in the second half, and then just passed out.
You were out?
I was out after that.
Yeah, well, I probably wasn't too terribly far behind you on that. Do you take in South Park?
Yes, but I haven't taken it. I still need to watch the most recent one.
I've only seen an episode or 2 of this season, and I may even be behind on a couple other seasons. But there's a season, but an episode more specifically, where Randy Marsh really gets into cooking because of all the cooking shows that are on.
I love that episode. The cream fraiche episode?
The cream fraiche, yeah. I love when he's making that super elaborate breakfast, and then all the dishes, the kitchen's just a total mess. And he's like, well, I cooked. You cleaned up, bye. And he just runs out of the house. I don't do a lot of cooking, but I use that line somewhat frequently at our house. Yeah, leaving the dishes behind. You cook, though. So, right? You're not in charge of that.
That's a 50-50 shot. If it was a situation where, if me and the girlfriend, lived together, if I cooked, or if she cooked, I'd do the dishes. It's 50-50 here. You know what I mean? We got to help each other out here.
It is. I don't really mind doing dishes. It's just time consuming, right? It's not a tough labor or anything that goes into it. It's just kind of time consuming. You can just get lost when you're doing it. So I don't think that it's the worst thing in the world. But sometimes after, and I say this coming from a point of appreciation, But there's sometimes we'll have dinner, and then I'll look at our kitchen and just be like, man, was the grilled chicken, mac and cheese, green beans and corn, what is it going to be worth this 25-minute cleanup? When we could have just ordered out, it'd be brought right to our door, we unpack it, we eat it, and then we put it all back in the bag, and then we put it in the trash can.
I think about this.
It's like, oh, man, would that have just been better? But, of course, the answer is no. You've got to cook home-cooked meals. It's worth it. It's fun. Cooking is enjoyable. But I do have those thoughts, Producer Matt. I won't lie to you.
I think about this literally every single time we cook because I'm the person who, when I cook, I kind of clean as I go, and I try and use as few utensils, pots, pans as possible. So, if I'm using a spoon or a knife to make, a sauce or something, I will clean it and then, use it again for something else. And then my girlfriend will look at me like I'm crazy because she's like, just throw it in the sink. They'll do it later. And, her family's like, yeah, well, it doesn't matter. Use whatever you got. So, they will use, 6 pots, 10, 15 bowls, and, all their silverware. And they're like, yeah, don't worry, guys. We got it. And I'm like, you guys are out of your mind. I'm not going to lie. This would stress me out.
I'm with you where it's just I will gladly use the same cup, bowl, dish. Don't matter to me. I'll happily use it. Let's just run that bad boy underwater, get a good old paper towel, wipe it on down. Yeah, right. What's the issue with
less
it?
Work for me later on.
And then the wife, she's right there with they are correct for what it's worth. Or are they correct? I don't even know if I can concede that point. But she'll look at me and be like, "Just grab a new dish. What? Why? Who cares?"
That's what they say to me. I think it's just how you're brought up. You know what I mean? I hate doing the dishes. I can't stand it. On my list of chores that I hate in life, dishes are number 2. Number 1 is laundry. And so maybe it's that. Whereas they don't care. They do dishes every single night. Nobody ever complains about it. They don't even. Somebody in their family just gets up and does it. You know what I mean? There's no system they have. So, I mean, I think it's just how you're brought up, I guess.
Did we ask, what did you make last night? What was presented to the family?
Last night we made homemade buffalo chicken quesadillas with a basil ranch sauce to dip them in. Oh, it was fire.
A basil ranch sauce?
Yeah, it's a ranch base, but it has fresh basil in it.
Okay. Oh, that just pisses me off.
Why does that piss you off?
It sounds like you just put some basil and ranch and tried to make it fancy.
It was all homemade. We used all homemade ingredients. I didn't use any ranch. We made it ourselves.
You made your own ranch. Okay, well that's okay. All right. I'll back off. I thought you just took some Hidden Valley ranch.
Oh no.
And then put a piece of basil in it.
Oh, not for me. No, I would never do that. I make everything from scratch.
Everything from scratch.
Everything that I can make and learned how to make, I make from scratch. If it's humanly possible.
Okay. That's pretty impressive, Producer Matt. People forget, though, ranch is gross and totally unnecessary.
You are out of your mind.
It's people just I guess maybe if the rest of the food doesn't taste really good, you just have to water it down with ranch. But I'm not saying that was the case with your delicious meal last night.
So
I'm sure it was probably great.
I'm guessing you are a blue cheese sympathizer.
No, blue cheese also sucks. Oh, I love Producer Matt getting to know me. Any white sauce can just get the hell out. That is nearly universal.
That's a crazy take. So you just like dry food?
Well, there's ketchup.
Oh, my gosh. TJ's mic's muted for the rest of the show. Hey, guys, we're running Kentucky roll call for the producer chair today.
Oh, you just don't need the gross white sauces. They're totally unnecessary. Good barbecue sauce is appropriate.
Barbecue sauce is good.
That is pretty good. What's your favorite thing to make?
My favorite thing to make.
What was the first thing you made your girlfriend?
I made her homemade steak. That was good. My favorite is it's an Asiago cheese pasta. I make my own sauce for that too. I've been making that for a couple years. That's probably my favorite thing.
We have additions to the YouTube page, and I gotta say, Producer Matt, I love it so far. We're looking pretty good.
Not trying to overload it at the beginning. We'll add some here and there.
I like that. That's pretty solid. All right, we're catching up on our Thursdays and on our Fridays. Has there been any news of the day? We didn't get into the NFL game. I still have that. We will finish that conversation. Hey, would you say that there has been news of the day? Oh my goodness, did you see this?
The only thing that I saw was 2 minutes before you walked in, Rampage Jackson's son got arrested.
Oh, from the wrestling?
Yeah, they finally like officially arrested him. That was literally like 2 minutes before you walked in the door.
That was the person that beat up the other person?
Yeah, Rajah Jackson.
Yes.
That was the only thing that I have seen today.
Yeah, I didn't see that, so didn't make my headlines. However, Tyler Hero's undergoing surgery.
I saw that too.
Shams tweeted out it's going to be on his left foot, and he'll be sidelined to begin the season.
I mean, it's also the Heat. As much as, I think Tyler Hero's really good, the Heat just really suck. That man needs some help on that team. Hopefully he gets it soon. But okay, do you want Tyler Hero out of there, and do you want him to like move to a more competitive team, or do you like him on the Heat?
I like him and Bam Adebayo together, so
That's true.
I enjoy that, but I don't. I'm fine with it. My NBA fandom, producer Matt, is minimal.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't have any team you like lean towards even a little bit?
The Celtics are kind of my team that I lean towards. I do like Boston sports teams. That being said, I don't like Jason Tatum, which puts me in a real pickle.
Why don't you like Jason Tatum?
I just think he's the most boring superstar of all time. He is good, obviously. I'd just be naive and dumb to say otherwise, but I think the way he goes about, it's just not the most entertaining thing in the world. It's not like he's this incredible shooter that you just can't let have any space. And it's not like he's just this physical, athletic freak that is just cramming on everybody. He's just incredibly balanced, and it's boring to me just how good he is in a balance sense. And he went to Duke, which is probably I should have led with that.
I can see that. You're right. He doesn't have a lot of pop. He's not like a Steph Curry. He's not like a LeBron James.
Like Steph Curry, you couldn't take your eyes off.
Yeah, like you have to put two guys on him.
LeBron, he's going to make you drop, well, in his prime, he would make you drop your draw at least twice in a game, if not more. He was just an absolute stud.
Then you got Kyrie, who's just like probably the best ball handler in the history of basketball. Like
he could get a rebound, and then you look down for 2 seconds, and he already dunked the ball. It's just like, what? No, he was just on the other end of the floor. How did that happen? Like you can make a case for pretty much any other NBA All-Star or superstar, I should say. And Jason Tatum, I'm complimenting him that his strength is just his boringness. Like, he's very, very good at everything. He's incredibly balanced, doesn't have a huge hole in his game, but he just does everything in a methodical way.
We also haven't seen a lot of Jason Tatum on, like, a team where he doesn't have other superstars around him. Like, I think he'll do just fine on his own, but, like, I agree with you. It seems like he does need, like, a little help out there. Like, even in his games where he does kind of take over, he gets those, like, 30 to closer to 40-point games. Like, there's always somebody else alongside him doing extremely well with him. Like, he's never really had one of those single-handedly, like, I'm the guy on this team, I run the show. He's always had a Jaylen Brown or, like, a Drew Holiday on defense to help him out or a Derek White from the three-point line. Like, Steph Curry, ran the Warriors forever, and LeBron obviously had the Cavs.
You're right about all that. And also just the NBA season from October to April for the regular season, I just can't, I can't realistically be a fan of a team for 6 months when I just don't care. Because I'm obviously going to care about the NFL, college football, and college basketball from October to the end of the football sports. Basketball, I'm going to care more about college basketball than the NBA, and not that you can't juggle multiple sports, you can. But then once college football is over, once the NFL is over, that's when college basketball is at its best. That's when you do need to dive in head first and just be fully immersed in college basketball, not, the NBA, who's going to get the 10th spot in the playoffs, in the play-in playoff games. Woo! I can't do it. I don't care. It's not entertaining to me.
I genuinely believe the playoffs need to be shortened. We don't really, I don't see the need to have a 7-game series in the first games of the playoffs. Like, it takes way too long. I know the WNBA playoffs, the first round is like best of 3, then the second round is best of 5, and then I think the semifinals is also best of 5. I wish they did something like that to kind of speed it up, because like those early rounds are just, I will be honest, the early rounds are boring. This is coming from a guy, I'm a diehard Pacers fan. Like, I watch almost every game I can. And, obviously they made the finals this year. The playoffs, like, even though I was invested, some of them I was like, gosh, this is going on forever.
Playoffs? I don't, play like once it's NBA playoff time, I think that's cool. Like, all right, let's lock in for the next 2 months. It's NBA playoff time. This should be pretty enjoyable. It's just getting there and then trying to act like you care about a November NBA basketball game. It's just impossible. And trying to care about a February NBA basketball game, it's just impossible.
See, that's how I feel about baseball. Like watching 162 games, and then it's finally playoff season just to watch your team go out in the first series. It's like, okay, I basically just put in a year's work at a 9 to 5 to get no salary. I feel that way somewhat about baseball as well. However, the biggest difference with baseball, what else do you got going on in June and July? I mean, there's some golf.
No, golf's great. I agree. But golf ain't on every night at 7 o'clock when you get home from work and you just want to sit down and watch something. And I used to be a bigger baseball fan when I had a little bit more time to keep up with it. I do like the Red Sox. And they don't get their bleep together. They need to watch out.
So,
I do think that, like, October baseball is great.
So you said that you like Boston-based teams. So you like the Red Sox. You used to like the Celtics a little bit. So then how did the Packers come to be?
Similar to your story, where my family back in like the 50s, there were just two teams that were on TV, and it was the Packers and Browns. And luckily, maybe the Paul Hornung connection had something to do with it potentially, or at least later on potentially. But my family chose the Packers over the Browns.
Okay. That makes sense.
Thank the Lord. Woo. And so it's just been passed down from, my mom was in a Packers family and whatnot. So.
Do you think that there's like a multi-universal TJ out there that's been a Browns fan his whole life?
Well, and another funny story, the way that I became a Packers fan, it really was. Yeah, I think that they could have very easily, if my family just decided to be Browns fans, then I'm a Browns fan, which would stink. My wife is a Browns fan. She's kind of removed herself with the Deshaun Watson stuff from the Browns. She wears more Green Bay stuff than Cleveland. But if they ever got good again, I could see her potentially going back. But I also remember when I was in first grade at recess, my buddy Matt, I would play Star Wars at recess, producer Matt.
Okay.
And another Matt, a friend of mine, he said, hey, you should probably stop playing Star Wars, start being a man, play football. How about that?
Your friend said this?
Yeah. Well, I don't think that was really his first grade language, but I'm paraphrasing a little bit.
I was like, that's a tough love from your friend in first grade.
And I was like, you know what? I probably should put Star Wars off to the side. Put the lightsaber down for a little bit, and yeah, I'll get into football. And I swear to you, my buddy said, all right, what team do you want to be on, the Steelers or the Packers? And I was like, that's it? The two choices? I was like, well, what are the colors? And he went, well, the Steelers are yellow and black, and the Packers are green and yellow. And I was like, well, green and yellow. Like, and I'm familiar with the Packers. I've heard that name around the household a time or two. And he's like, all right, you're on the Packers. Go over there. They're the Packers. I'm on the Steelers. I'm over here. And it stuck. I do wonder if I would have picked the Steelers that day. Would I be with Scoots and Roush with a terrible towel in my hand?
Yeah, your whole life would be different.
I'm really thankful that I didn't choose.
Really, really painful lifestyle too. Just like the Steelers are like the tease of the NFL. Are they back? Are they back? And then it's like, oh, another first round playoff loss.
Yeah. I think there's some comparables with Kentucky basketball and Pittsburgh Steelers over the last 10, 20 years. Where it's just like, we should be winning more championships, but why aren't we?
See, I'm
not the fans' fault.
I'm a full-on Mike Tomlin hater, I'm going to be honest.
I also think Mike Tomlin is just mediocre as mediocre gets.
He is the best okay coach of all time.
You see what you get with him. Like, he's not going to win a Super Bowl. Just not. All right, that was a fun first segment on afternoon.
Good.
Yeah, good pleasantries. Good catching up on our Thursday evenings. UK beats U of L, all's right in the world. And we got Billy Shrings in the background. We're on the YouTube. If you want to watch us there, get your text into the Gameday Men's Health text line 502-414-1450. Carl Anthony Towns talked to the current UK basketball team. We'll play what he had to say. A couple basketball and football updates, and we'll get you into our college and NFL Allen Electric Picks of the Week in hour number 2. This is Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio. Producer Matt and TJ Walker. Get your text into the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. And I thought that this was a possibility today, but it wasn't a guarantee. And I'm very, very happy that it is going to work out. But we're going to have our bud, Big Blue Bud, on here in just a moment. He was the breaker of the Pat Kelsey, Mark Pope feud. Not quite a fight, but there was some back and forth. There was some chirping involving the Tay Kinney recruitment. This was about a week ago, and they showed up both there at midnight. Big Blue Bud said that they nearly came to blows. You do have some people that are saying, maybe they didn't come to blows. But there was an unfriendly exchange. And we're going to have Big Blue Bud from Rupp to No Good join us and tell us what he heard in a pretty wild Thursday for him, I have to imagine. He tweets that stuff. He puts it out there. We talk about it on air. And pretty much every UK bigwig media member and even some national media members say, that's not true. And just a couple hours later, okay, here's the report on Mark Pope and Pat Kelsey running into each other. You had Jeff Goodman write a report on it. You had every major UK website have to have a post on it. And that all stemmed from our buddy, Big Blue Bud. You can follow him on Twitter at Big Blue Bud. He's a quarter of the Rupp to No Good podcast. Big Blue Bud, how are you, buddy?
I'm pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Good to hear from you. We got to play with you at the Big X Golf Scramble a couple of weeks ago, which was great. I think you have one of the best UK Twitter accounts on social media. And you're starting, like, over the last year, it's really been longer than that, but over the last year or so, you've been a sneaky news outlet. You will break news, bud.
I know a couple of people that are really cool and for some reason like to tell me things. And so, but I'm always just like a little bit wrong. You know what I mean? Like I was talking about this yesterday. Like I broke news about Travis Perry's hand, but it was actually just his wrist on the same hand. And then there was some news about Valparaiso and playing them in an exhibition game, but actually it was an MTE multi-team event that we're playing in. So one day I'm going to get it 100% right. I'm going to have all the details, and it's going to be perfect.
You're there. You're on the scent. That's what matters the most. I'm gonna date myself with this reference, but it's like That's So Raven. She sees these visions and she gets them all wrong. You get this news and you just get like maybe a little piece wrong, but the meat and the bones of what you're putting out there, time and time again, turns out to be correct. So make sure you're following Big Blue Bud on social media. Break down how you heard about this yesterday. I don't need you to spill the belly beans on your source or anything like that. But you probably got a text message and you were just like, what? Well, how's nobody talking about this? So just relay how it all went down for you yesterday, Big Blue Bud.
Yeah, so there was kind of something that someone had said like a week ago from, people who like knew the Kinney camp, and they had mentioned that, I don't know, it was like awkward or something had happened between Pope and Kelsey, but you didn't hear anything more than that. And then, I got a message or two that this rumor is just flying through like coaching circles, like scouts are talking about it, and it's coming from all different directions. That apparently there's this huge blowout, which I think stories get exaggerated a little bit every time you play the game of telephone and they get retold. But yeah, I mean, nearly came to blows is the exact quote that everybody's using, and that's it came from the text I got. Supposedly, which like there's other details of the story that got maybe misconstrued. I don't know, but they said at first it happened in Tay Kinney's front yard, but I think this actually happened in a apartment in Atlanta. And so like there's little details like that that are different in the rumor. But yeah, they had at least a aggressive verbal confrontation, and it nearly came to blows. And Kenny's stepdad had to pop in there and break it up. Like it got serious enough that somebody felt they had to come intervene. So I mean that's that's what it was and what it is. And I was like, oh my God, please let me tell this story.
And you got to tell your story. I don't know.
I did.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, Jeff Goodman have to give like a clarifying report on how it all went down. Did you get to read Jeff Goodman's report?
I did get to read Jeff Goodman's report. Yeah, I liked all the details that came out. I'm actually really appreciative that they that they did. It's so much better when someone says, "Well, maybe not 100% true, but it's at least kind of true." This is what really happened and how it went down. Which again, just trying to report like, hey, this is definitely a rumor that's going around. I don't know how valid or accurate any of the details are, but it's 100% something that people are saying. So, and I remember reading, I don't know, something about like Pope showed up either like not right on time or potentially a couple minutes late, and then Kelsey hopped in there anyways, and I don't know, somebody broke the rules and then they got mad. But the important part is, or I think the great part for the rivalry and the fun story is that like they were beefing, like they were yelling at each other, like they were mad, they were heated, and that's just great for the rivalry, right? Like that's great, even if it's like super nice guys and friendly coaches, like they take this seriously. They're competitors too, and so like that happens.
We're talking to Big Blue Bud. He is a member of the Rupp to No Good podcast. You can follow along on social media at Big Blue Bud. Jeff Goodman's report of it said that Mark Pope in Kentucky, it was agreed upon by the family in UK that, hey, at midnight, Pope's going to come chat with you. And Tay Kinney said, cool, I've got some other coaches that may want to come, but Pope, you're going to be first. And U of L got the 12:15 slot, according to Jeff Goodman. Now, the way Jeff Goodman tells it, Kelsey and his staff were sitting outside the car waiting for their time, and they went ahead and went in because Pope and Kentucky weren't there right before midnight. Pope showed up moments later, according to Goodman, called the agent, and then got into it with Kelsey as he and the Louisville assistants walked out of the apartment a few minutes after midnight. Pope was heated, according to Jeff Goodman, thinking Pat Kelsey and his staff went in earlier than allowed of the time of midnight. A verbal altercation ensued, with both having some choice words for one another. Pope thought Kelsey broke the rules, and Kelsey took exception to that. Pope and his assistants went in. They met with Tay Kinney, and they walked back out as Kelsey and his staff were walking back in. Pope tried to shake Kelsey's hand immediately, but Kelsey was upset that Pope had made comments that he broke rules by going into the house early. And a short time after, the two sides hugged it out.
There it is. So Jeff Goodman, he had, I guess, apparently he didn't have like the very best first day at On 3 with the Wofford news or whatever, but that's the story. I believe it. and yeah, I mean, yeah, that's good. Right? Like that's such a believable story too. Like there's no like doubt about any of that. Like I guess the original tweet. People thought it was sensationalized or just completely unbelievable, which fair enough, you know what I mean? That's a crazy thing to happen. But that's just like good, helpful context, and I mean, you can totally see that happening. That's entirely believable. But
Big Blue Bud, without you, that doesn't get out into the world. Like that's a hilarious interaction. It is so Kentucky-Louisville rivalry, and I think an underrated part about this is the cucking of Pat Kelsey again. Because he was in the room meeting with Tay Kinney, and Mark Pope got his ass out of there. He said, get out. It's not your time. So they had to walk out. They had an interaction. And then when Mark Pope was done, they had to interact again with each other because then it was time for Pat Kelsey to go back in. That cracks me up that Mark Pope, they kicked, or maybe it was the Kinneys who did it. But at some point, they were like, hey, Pat, you're not supposed to be here right now. Get out. Pope, come back in. Let's make this the way it's supposed to be. Go ahead, Big Blue Bud.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, it's funny seeing like the Louisville like fanfic version on Twitter, just like how Pat Kelsey, Mark Pope's late and Pat Kelsey's on time, and Pat Kelsey owned that, like whatever. It's like just playing into the classic U of L fan delusion. Sorry, Matt. I know Matt's a U of L fan. Finally got to talk to him for 5 seconds when he put me on the line, by the way. Great producer you got there. He's awesome.
Producer Matt is awesome. He is a Louisville fan. Your take on all this, Producer Matt?
I'm full here for the delusion. Whatever anybody wants to believe, I'm here for it. I'm just here because I think it's a funny story.
It is a great story. It's so dumb. It's such a stupid, amazing college basketball story, and it's almost harder to believe because Pat Kelsey and Mark Pope are boys, and they like it. Here's as somebody that covered recruiting for a long time. Reading between the lines, I would guess that Pat Kelsey and his staff did go in before midnight. That they said, what are we doing? We're out here. Who cares? You're not going to tell on us. We're not going to tell on us. Let us come in there. And I bet Mark Pope was like, dude, you don't think I wanted to be there at 11:30? You don't think I wanted to be there at 9:30? You can't just go in early. We had this stuff set up. Get your ass out of here. Get out. And then I bet Pat Kelsey was like, well, we were up by the door at 11:55. We didn't go in till midnight. Chill out, Mark. Chill out. Let's be professional. That's how I think it probably went down. Something along those lines, Big Blue Bud.
Probably, yeah. It was exactly like that. Like, whoa, like, why's this guy spazzing out on me? But it's like, hey, like, you broke the rules. Like, you took my time slot. Like, that's not right. Like, what do you think? How do you think I'm going to react? Like, what do you expect? You know what I mean? And yeah, it was like that, and they figured it out and hugged it out or whatever because they're two friendly dudes. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's just exactly what happened. Just two guys, difference of opinion, kind of an awkward situation. I mean, that was already awkward. Like, you kind of thought maybe it would be awkward anyways whenever they both had the same idea. Like, that was the initial report. Like, Pat Kelsey showed up for a midnight visit and to see Tay Kenny, and, like, I guess Mark Pope had the same idea or something like that. I was like, ooh, that's weird, but yeah, it actually was.
I thought it was more likely that the two were, like, taking pictures for each other. Like, all right, Pat, you take a picture with Tay, and then I'll come take a picture over with Tay. I thought it'd be more likely they were that friendly, but it's good to see this rivalry with two new head coaches starting to boil up a little bit. Big Blue Bud, I know you got a busy work day. Thank you for taking some time to fill us in on what happened in Atlanta. And the funny thing is, Big Blue Bud, Tay Kenny's not even, like, Kentucky and Louisville may not even be finishing second or third in this recruitment. Like, he's probably going to go to Kansas. There's some momentum for Arkansas. It's not going to be the Cats or the Cards.
So I will say, in the original telling of this that I heard, like, apparently, stepdad is telling everybody, like, which, I mean, like, you can take all this with a grain of salt, but stepdad's saying, like, this is kind of the reason that neither program's being considered. Like, it was just, like, ugly, like, it may have nothing to do with it, but that's what's being said, or it's like they're saying that he said. So.
That cracks me up. It's just like, it was so off-putting. The whole thing was just so awkward and weird that they're just like, all right, we've got so much money on the table at other places. We don't need to deal with this weird-ass rivalry. I love that, Big Blue Bud. Thank you for your time. Have a good weekend. I would ask you for a UK football prediction, but they play bye. You think they take care of bye?
I think they take care of bye. It's going to be a great weekend. It's a beautiful Friday, and it's going to be a beautiful Saturday. Kentucky literally can't lose.
It's going to be a weekend to get their confidence up.
A weekend to get the confidence up. I agree, Producer Matt. Big Blue Bud, thank you so much. Enjoy that beautiful Friday and your great weekend, and we'll talk to you down the road.
All right, talk to you later. Bye-bye.
All right, that was our buddy Big Blue Bud from Rupp to No Good. I do think just one of the all-around better UK Twitter accounts out there. But I would probably say that about most of the Rupp to No Good accounts. They're funny. They're like what the internet kind of used to be, fun, not overly serious to the point of violence sort of stuff, like where let's not meet up and fight, but let's make fun of your college team because they're silly. So really enjoy those guys, and cool to have Big Blue Bud recap the Pat Kelsey, Mark Pope altercation, which it totally happened, everybody. And if it's not for an anonymous Twitter account named Big Blue Bud on Twitter tweeting it out there, it's probably not getting out. And I'll bet you whatever amount of money you want to put up. Maybe a nice little lunch bet. Salsaritas, anyone? That the next time Mark Pope and Pat Kelsey have media opportunities, this is getting asked about. It's 100% getting asked about. Now, on that Jeff Goodman reporting, Pope, he says that Pope and Kelsey downplayed anything between the pair. I love Mark, Pat Kelsey said, and I have a ton of respect for Pat, Pope said. So it does seem like it was heated in the moment, that the sides calmed down. But we just needed a little crack in this rivalry. We needed a little something to turn up the temperature, and I think this is just going to be the thing we needed. So I'm happy about that.
I fully agree with that. Like, this is kind of where you want it to be. We kind of talked about it on Just the Cats earlier. We had a debate on whether fans of both, like, fan bases, would they want it to be like the Cal-Rick animosity, or do we like where, like, Mark and Pat Kelsey are going? And I kind of like where it's at. I like that, like, it seems like in the moment they can get at each other, but they also respect each other at the same time. Like, I'm really intrigued to see what it looks like on November 11th.
Yeah, here's what's just the truth is, and I think we've talked about this with Stephen Peak, and this isn't original to Kentucky Roll Call, But it's going to take Louisville and Pat Kelsey beating UK. And when that happens and Pat Kelsey's super over-the-top obnoxious in his celebration, then we'll all be done with him. Like, UK fans will be like, yeah, all right, that guy kind of sucks. That's what it's going to take. U of L just having to win. Which producer Matt, I know, is incredibly rare.
I can't fully disagree. We actually talked about it on the Mike Rutherford show yesterday that we had a discussion of, like, which coach is going to give first. And I can fully see if Pat Kelsey, I don't think it would be like this year because it's at home. But let's say Pat Kelsey way exceeds expectations and wins 2 in a row, like beats UK here in U of L and then beats them at Rupp next year.
Whoa, U of L hasn't won at Rupp since 2008.
Let's say something like that happens, then I could see it getting like, okay, these people hate each other because one of them has said something that the other one didn't like.
Really, I think you'd more likely have UK fans be like, all right, Pope may just not be the guy, everybody.
We also talk about that too, like how quick would you guys make that assumption, like with that decision?
If Pope lost 2 in a row to Louisville, which would include maybe what if U of L beats him this year and then beats him in March. But if Mark Pope loses to U of L at Rupp Arena and it's some sort of shriek for U of L, UK fans will not be happy about that. Are you kidding me? Of course they won't be. They not to the point of like putting for sale signs in his yard or anything like that, but there will be some rumblings. And if he doesn't have any March success up to that point, or any great March success up to that point, then it'll be noisy. Kentucky doesn't make a habit of losing to Louisville. They never have, and the plan is to never have that happen. It's in history, it's never happened. Throughout the decades, it's never happened. I don't think it's going to start with Mark Pope, but you never know. And if it does, people will get worked up about it. That's how you get fired at UK. You lose to Louisville.
I could see the animosity growing. I actually made a prediction about this at the beginning, like a month ago or so, that I think if the upward trajectory with both programs continues to grow with Mark Pope and Pat Kelsey, and their expectations get exceeded every year and they both do great, I think it's going to take about 4 seasons or 5 seasons for them to if they're going to get to the point where they despise each other, that's how long it would take.
It could. And I think it's going to take more of this Big Blue Bud reporting. Just little, hey, supposedly an assistant said this to another person. Or when they recruit, I think you just need a little bit more smoke in some other areas so that way when the game rolls around, it can turn into a proper fire. And I think it will. I think it's getting there in due time. 502-414-1450, your Gameday Men's Health text line. Gameday Men's Health, redefining men's wellness. No shortcuts, just results. Testosterone, peptides, weight loss, sexual performance therapy. You can go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com, defining a new era in men's health. We've got a Scooter Dingus health update for you. I need to find some audio to play for this. He is still healthy, everybody. Still healthy.
Still going.
Still going. I didn't really like what he had to say today, though, about it. For the first time in this 4 days, 5 days, 5 days, 4 days? Where are we at?
I think it's 4 days. I think he started on Monday.
I think he did. So, yeah, we've made it to the end of the week here. This may be the most concerned that I've been. Not because that he's just heading into the weekend, and I know that he's been working for the weekend, and it's finally here now. You don't play that song on Fridays. But he mentioned last night and he ate healthy. He had a salad. He had apple. It was all great. We're so proud of you, Scoots. But he mentioned how 3 Bud Light Limes. Is that right?
I wasn't able to listen to a show this morning, so I don't.
Yeah, he said that there were 3 Bud Light Limes that wouldn't stop staring at him in the refrigerator, and they were looking sexy. And he didn't drink them, and he was really proud of himself. He didn't drink them. He's stuck with healthy stuff. But I don't know if he was so tempted by the Thursday night Bud Light Limes. Those Bud Light Limes are going to put out all the stops for Friday and Saturday night.
It's pretty early.
I agree.
It's pretty early.
It is. To be that distracted, that's like getting caught hitting on a girl on your honeymoon. It's like, oh, already? Seems a little early to be going there.
We're gonna have to hit it. We're gonna have to get him some of the Bud Light Zeros.
For Scoots taking the month off, 4 days in to be making googly eyes with some Bud Light limes in the refrigerator. This is a big weekend for our guy.
Especially with the Indiana-Illinois game.
Oh, no, producer Matt. One of the biggest games in the history of Indiana football, at least at their home stadium. What is it, Memorial Stadium? They have the dumbest name.
Memorial Stadium, I think is what it's called.
Oh, no.
He said I know he said that he's just going to be posted up in his recliner, and you know he's not having a water in that hand.
No. He's going to be hooting and hollering and yelling. And if he was being seduced by the Bud Light limes, wait till it's Friday night. He's home from his game tonight. He starts thinking about that IU-Illinois game, and then he looks over in the corner of his eye. He sees Fireball wearing next to nothing. Look, I'm worried about Scoots.
I know you're probably rooting against IU anyway.
True.
But I don't even want to know what it would look like if they lost.
But it could be worse for the guy if they win.
That's true.
Him and Gill could take off down Corden.
Look, depending on how well he actually has done this week, like in terms of behind closed doors, maybe the one night slip up won't, push him back too far. But that's gonna it depends on how severe it is.
Yeah, no, I want him to get through. I want him to make it like a true week without booze, so he can at least say like, I want a week. I want a week in the fall without. And also, I think if he gets a week, he may say like, all right, I did a week. I can do 2 weeks. I need him to get through this weekend, producer Matt. No slip ups, no temptations, just getting out clean.
I'm believing he can do it. I know, he's getting the sweats. His mouth is salivating a little bit, looking in the fridge. I think he can do it. I believe in him.
He seems determined. The fact that he's making it a bit of a segment on his own show makes me think that, like, I don't think he's going to come in Monday. I am worried about it. Make no mistake about it. But my guess is he's not going to come in Monday and say, like, yeah, I'll cut in. I got into the booze this weekend. I don't think he'll do that. Because he's been keeping up with it. I don't think he's going to bring bad news.
The times that I've come in here, and I've been coming in early to this place for about a month and a half now, and the dude has been livelier than I've seen him yet.
I agree. He's got energy like you just wouldn't believe. Ooh, a 22-1 winner to start the day at Churchill. Wow. Money to be had. Whole another hour of Kentucky Roll Call with producer Matt and TJ Walker. Don't go anywhere. Back after this.
I could be just one example of many to show that with Kentucky across your chest, you can make it to the NBA, but not only that, you can be tremendously successful at it. And it starts here. This is really where your success in the NBA starts. It's here. Don't think it's not when you get to the NBA, you get put in a situation, it's the work you put in now, because the work I put in when I was here made the NBA easy for me. When I remember leaving from Kentucky, I thought the NBA was much easier for me than it was in college, and that was because you put the work in. This is really y'all boot camp to showing the world that y'all could be NBA players, that y'all are worthy of the job. And it is a job, and you'll learn. So please enjoy this moment. Stay in the present. Don't think about the future. The past, you already took care of what you needed to do to get to the present. So stay in the present. Enjoy being teammates with each other. Enjoy this moment in time, because you may never be in a room again with this much talent. I sure as hell learned that the hard way when I was here with my team. But I want to make sure y'all enjoy this moment because it's early. When y'all first practices, I want y'all to enjoy these moments being here. Enjoy this moment. Enjoy being the rock stars that y'all deserve and earn the right to be in Lexington. And make us proud, man, and make us proud. And you don't have to score 30, 40, go to the NBA, be a number one pick to make us, the alumni, proud. Y'all representing yourselves the right way, being great man, walking around this campus with pride is exactly what makes me proud as an alumni. So please, just have fun with this. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You never get to go back and be a Kentucky Wildcat and be in college again. Enjoy it. This is a place I wish I was back at, even with all, like you said, the success. I've been very blessed by God to find an NBA. I would do a lot to come back to Kentucky. So enjoy this moment.
That was Karl Anthony Towns, former UK great, #1 draft pick, speaking to this current edition of the University of Kentucky Wildcats, and that was awesome. There were a couple clips that we could have played. I was like, let's just go ahead and play the whole thing because it's pretty good. It was cool to hear Karl Anthony Towns. He's a good dude. He's always been in love with the University of Kentucky, and if that was John Calipari's doing, so be it. But it's not like he has moved on. Not like he's wearing Arkansas gear or anything like that. Still coming around campus, still speaking very highly of UK, and a lot of wisdom from Karl Anthony Towns there. And something that I totally believe, like those kids just can't quite understand the position, and they're not kids, they're young adults, but they can't totally understand the position that they're in. Because if they did, they would probably have too much fun with it. And I like that Karl Anthony Towns just tried to remind them, like, have fun with this. You only get to do it one time, and once it's over, it's over. Enjoy it. But being a basketball player at the University of Kentucky, in the college sports world, it's being a football player at the University of Alabama. It's being a football player at the Ohio State University. It's similar, obviously, to playing basketball at Duke or at Kansas. In the world of college athletics, it's as really good as it gets in your sport. So many people don't realize it till they're older, and that's totally understandable. But seems like a good group of players this year. I'm sure that Karl Anthony Towns' speech probably hit home for them, you would like to think. 502-414-1450, the Game Day Men's Health text line. Producer Matt, I'm guessing you didn't have anything to add on Karl Anthony Towns' speech to the current UK Wildcats team.
For me, the biggest part of that speech, he talks about, his favorite part was Mark Pope talking about the great guy he is and stuff like that. My favorite part of the speech is when he brought up to them that you don't need to rush to the NBA like he misses his time at Kentucky, and that this time now is a job. Because, I know he says that, as a metaphor, but in reality, it is. They're getting paid to play there, and even though you're being paid, you should still enjoy your time and the memories that you make at the college you go to, whether it be at Kentucky or be it Purdue or wherever you want to go. I think it's a good message for all college athletes.
It absolutely. You're right. It is. Just being a college athlete, to have before the NIL era, just to even have your schooling paid for was such an incredible privilege that if used properly, it would set you up for a great life. Now they get their scholarships and their schooling paid for, but they get money on top of it, and that's totally okay. But you're right about that. There's a lot, it doesn't matter if you're at a low-level school. If you're getting a scholarship, that's a huge deal. Kentucky basketball, though, that's not a low-level school. That you do have the brightest lights on you. There is a pressure that goes into that, but if you can find a way to kind of harness it in a good way, to be like, oh, yeah, this is fun. I enjoy this. This is great. This is why I came here, to be on the biggest stage. It works out for those people, but time and time again, you do see a couple people every so often just like, oh, they didn't think, they thought the lights wouldn't be that bright, or they thought that they would be ready for them, and they're clearly not. Scalabissier, probably one of those players. Obviously, Ryan Harrow, one of those players. There's been several more. Some have maybe come back to TBT, which is great. We like seeing that, but it does happen where they get there and they're just like, not for me. But the ones that do, it's cool to see. Cool to see your text into the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. We'll hit some of these, and then we'll get back to some more commentary. Working a high school game tonight. Should District Scoots wondering eyes enough for tonight? Working a high school game tonight working a high school game tonight should distract Scoots wondering eyes enough for tonight. But then he's going to get home. He's going to get home from that high school game. And it's just going to be him, Gil, and that refrigerator. And maybe, do you think he keeps his fireball cold?
I don't think so. I think that he's so used to it now, he's just taking it straight. It's just like the elevation of bourbon. Like, you sip it on, like, with some ice here and there, you know what I mean? Like, and you enjoy it. And then once you're a true bourbon drinker, you're like, let me get that thing neat.
I think you just did Scoot so unintentionally dirty. Just being like, oh, that degenerate? No, he just ripped that thing right out of the car. Hot as could be. It's Fireball, after all.
I'm like, dang, I forgot my booze for the tailgate. He's like, there's a couple in the glove box. Go ahead, grab you some.
Sadly, I think your assertion that he will drink it however temperature, I think you're probably right about that. So it's going to be him, Gil, probably a new episode of Swamp People, 3 hot-looking, cold Bud Light limes in the fridge, on top of the fridge, a Fireball that has just been making eyes at Scoots for far too long.
He's been burning a hole in his pocket.
You can do it. You can do it, Scoots. A texter on the Game Day Men's Health text line says, does Scoots get a cheat day or two? Listen, we're not in charge of Scoots' health journey, right, producer Matt? This is between Scoots and himself. This is Scoots trying to improve on Scoots.
We're just trying to support him.
We are trying to support him, and we're doing our best. Again,
look, he's made this public knowledge. It's almost the studio's job to keep the whole world updated.
It absolutely is, and a little accountability goes a long way. He can't have a cheat day 5 days in, texter. That can't happen. That's too quick.
You got to earn the cheat day.
I think if here's what he needs to do. He needs to do the month like he says he's going to do. And if it's like week 3 or into the week 4 and it's a special occasion or something, all right, then fine, you can have a drink. But he really should try to go the month and then reassess.
I'm calling it right now. If he gets 2 weeks in, if he finishes this week and goes one more, he's got it locked in. It's over. I think 2 weeks he's got it.
This Monday show, though, the anticipation.
Whole city of Louisville is gonna be locked into Sunrise with Scoots, ready for the recall.
It's gonna be 7:07. The intro's just done playing. Hey, everybody! Good morning.
Back here. I'm gonna be listening. If he doesn't have a health update, I'm gonna grill him as soon as I come in.
If he doesn't have a health update, I think that's the health update, unfortunately. If there's no health update, that's probably the health update. I hope that's not the case. A texter says, bye wins by 3. Tough day for Stoops. You know, I'm getting excited for that UK-South Carolina game. I don't know why. I have zero expectation UK's going to win, but I miss not having a football game. I wish UK played football tomorrow. I'm excited for 8 days, even though expectations are low. And a quick update on that, by the way, Lenore Sellers is just expected to full-on rip and roar against Missouri.
They announced he's playing?
He's probable.
Oh, okay. Because I know that
the availability report, he's probable.
I remember Shane Beamer at the beginning of the week, people were asking about it, and he was like, stop asking me. If he doesn't practice on Wednesday, he's not playing. And then he was questionable last night. So, I was like, oh, he's probably not playing. So that's the probable is a surprise to me.
So I think, was it Roush that said that he got a concussion? Somebody said that it was concussion related, but they never officially said that. And they ended up saying it was an ankle or something different.
I don't know, injuries this year in college football have been weird. I don't know why so many teams are hiding, hiding their details of injuries or just not fully reporting on them. Or or there's like drama around them, like the whole Arch Manning thing, like is he hurt or not, stuff like injuries have just been weird this season.
There's a part of me that thinks that Lenore Sellers most certainly did have a concussion injury, and South Carolina's like, all right, do you feel fine? And he's like, yeah, I feel good. And they're like, well, it's a big game, so if you feel good, let's go ahead and get you back out there.
We got to rest you up for Kentucky next week.
Got to rest you up for Kentucky. Well, it's not a great offense even with Lenore Sellers for what it's worth, and it totally fell off after he was injured in that game against Vanderbilt. But even when he was healthy, Virginia Tech, how many points did they give up against Old Dominion?
A lot.
It was.
I don't have the number in front of me. I can figure it out, but it was a lot.
It was like 45-24 or something like that. So it was nearly a 50-burger. South Carolina put up 24 points.
They lost 45-26.
Okay, so they put up 20. They put up 21 fewer points than Old Dominion did.
I genuinely think Virginia Tech is the worst team in the ACC this year, and that's surprising to me. I thought they were I didn't think they were going to be great, but I thought they were going to be like average, middle of the table. They are terrible.
Yeah, Stanford's not very good either, but they are 1-0 in conference games.
Yeah, they've won a game.
They've got that going for them. I can't imagine Virginia Tech will win a conference game this year. Wake Forest is really, really bad.
But, winning a game doesn't mean anything. You might as well just rank Virginia Tech. They haven't won yet. Neither is Notre Dame, so just put anybody you want.
There you go. I love it. Brought it back to Notre Dame. We're big fans about that. But it does look like Sellers should be good to go against Kentucky in a week unless something happens to him against Missouri. And we will get into that college football slate here in just a moment, but want to make sure I'm not just saying this because he's not here today, but sometimes Roush will rush the text line, and I don't want to rush the Game Day Men's Health text line.
You got to let it build up a little bit.
I like taking time on text, and then if it's 150 and we finally throw it over that way, it's like, oh, well, we don't really get a ton of time to spend on these. A texter says, your friend was a terrible friend. You might have ended up a Jedi had you not given up playing Star Wars at recess in kindergarten and first grade.
That's a good parallel universe right there.
It was a simpler time at the recess, the playground at St. Raphael School in Upper Highlands.
What year was this?
This would have been probably 97.
Man, you could have been Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. I was a huge Star Wars kid as just, a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10
Are you
year
still
old.
into that?
No.
Really?
No. I think all the new ones are usually pretty bad. There was one new one that was solid, but I'll watch it. Like I watched The Mandalorian and all the different ones. Not.
So you keep up with it at least.
I do keep up with it. I don't think it's good.
Okay, I'm around the same. I grew up. My dad was a big Star Was kid growing up. Literally, I'm not even gonna lie to you about this, TJ. My first memory growing up was seeing Revenge of the Sith in theaters as a little kid in 2000. Was it 2002? 2003 when that movie came out? I think it was 2003.
So they made those new, like three new ones, right? Or
Yeah.
they ended up being like the
sequels or the pre. Are you talking about the prequels?
Yes.
Yeah, episodes 1, 2, and 3.
Yes. Yeah. They those came out though. Like that was part of the ones that you were referencing, right?
Yes.
All right, hold on. I'm pulling up the list.
I think Revenge of the Sith was 2003.
Revenge of the Sith was 2005.
Okay.
Attack of the Clones was 2002.
Okay, so that's probably the first one that I saw.
And The Phantom Menace was 99.
Yeah, because I was born that year. But I grew up watching Star Wars my whole life. But I'm right there with you. The sequels were terrible. Like, I couldn't stand them. But I will admit, sometimes when I tell the story back, it's a little embarrassing. But I spent when I was turning 21, my dad was like, what do you want to do? We're going to do something big. I want to spend it with you. He asked me if I want to go to Vegas. I said, no, Dad. I want to go to Disney World. And I went to Disney World for my 21st birthday. And I spent the entirety of my February 16th birthday in Hollywood Studios in Galaxy's Edge. And it was the greatest thing I've ever done in my life. I'm not going to lie.
Well, good for you.
It was so much fun. I remember they sold beer in the line for the rides.
Well, that's pretty great.
By like noon, I'm not going to lie, I was torched.
Yeah, that is awesome. So they just come up to you in line and like, you want a beer?
They had this really long line for the Millennium Falcon ride, and I was sitting there, and I was like, it's a little bored. And then I cannot make this up. A door opens behind me, like to the back of the ride, and a lady walks out 2 giant kegs with spouts.
Wow!
And starts selling them $9 a pop or $10 a pop, whatever they were.
It's worth it.
I was like, we're about to both double fist these up and just sit in line, and we did.
Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds really nice. So are you big into like Universal Studios, Disney World, places like that?
It's fun. Like Disney World, like I haven't been since then. I went to Universal once when I was a little kid, so I don't remember a lot of it. I'll go back. Like it's fun. I'm not like a Disney adult, no.
Okay, that's what I was kind of.
Yeah, no, I'm not a
Are
Disney
you a
adult.
Disney adult? And then there's not.
No.
Well, I won't say there's nothing wrong with it. There is something wrong with it.
Oh, those people.
Disney adults are ruining Disney, and I'm not even saying just like Disneyland or Disney World. They're ruining the entire company.
It's a stain on the brand.
They go there, they don't have kids, and they're changing the whole. And I haven't been to Disney World in forever, but they are having their hands on Disney products and in influencing Disney, I guess, consumerism, if you will. Disney's for kids, you weirdos. It's for kids.
I can't disagree.
The amusement park, while they want you to be happy too, it is centered around kids. And now Disney's just out the wazoo expensive. And if you actually want to try to take your family and go, which we've looked into and we'll go at some point, it's ridiculous.
Oh, it's egregious.
I just talked to a family that got back from Disney World, and they were like, it's the most expensive thing in the world. You bleed money when you're at the park. You can't even help it. You can have the mindset that you're trying to save money, and before you know it, you had to pay for this, you had to pay for that. If you want the upgrade on that, you need this. It's like, it's just so expensive. How do you go? If it's made for families, how do you go with families?
So I got my tax return, the past year, obviously, and it was a pretty hefty amount from when I left my last job. And I was in that stage where I didn't really have anything to do with it, so my girlfriend and I decided that I'd never been out of the country. She goes, and her family goes about every year. She's like, I want you to go out of the country one time. So we planned a vacation. We're going to go on a cruise in December. But originally, beforehand, she was like, what do you want to do? I was like, I haven't been to Disney World in a while. I've been to Universal. I haven't been to these places in a long time. Let's look at it. For 3 days, it was going to cost us like $4,000.
My goodness.
And I was like, and then we looked up, the cruise cost me $998, TJ. And this is like with the beverage package. Everything's included already. I don't have to pay for anything when I'm there. I'm like, you are out of your freaking mind. If you think, one, that's just for me and her. I can't imagine bringing a family of 4.
You're getting all these Disney adults, and they go, and they're like, you know what? I don't have kids. I can pay $15 for beer. I will pay $20. And then kids go, and it's like, oh, no. That little wand costs $20. That's going to be crazy. Have you been on? Are you a cruise guy? Have you ever been on a cruise?
I've never been on a cruise.
Okay.
Like that was the thing. So they go on cruises every year, and I told her I'd never been on one, but I'd always wanted to go on one vacation that like everything was included. So she was like, "Let's try it. We'll take you on a cruise, see if you like it or not." So I'm excited.
They're fun. I like the concept of cruises. I've been on 2 or 3. I've been on a few of them. And it's been a long time. It's been over 10 years since I've been on one. So I'm no cruise expert by any means. But we've looked at market gambling.
If you go in there,
You got to find some people in the coal room that are willing to roll some dice with you.
if they see cards or DraftKings open on your phone, I think they just throw you overboard.
Mr. Mickey himself will say, "Hey, you got to walk the plank, you little turd. Family, no gambling."
I think they should actually do that. Like, just that should be what plays over the intercom all the time.
Wake up! It's another day on Mickey's big boat.
It's just a man with a Mickey voice like changer. Oh, like every announcement, like, can Jim and Pam please come to? But like in like a Mickey voice, talking about their kids lost on the ship.
We got a couple lost squirts out there.
I'm impressed that you're this good at this.
I'm not good at it, is the sad thing. I'm not good at it, is the unfortunate part. But maybe the more entertaining part is the fact that I kept doing it despite not being very good at it. Where did we spiral from this?
Honestly, I think we were talking. I've honestly forgot.
Disney? I mean, how did we get into Disney?
Oh, we were talking about. The texter was asking about if you would have been a Jedi, and we started Star Wars and then went to Disney.
That's nuts. That is crazy. Oh yeah, one little point. You had brought up some of those releases. I think the Attack of the Clones in 2022. My dad hates when I tell this story, but in '99, or it was, I don't know if it was I think it was the '99 one. I think I was probably 8 years old. That sounds about right. I don't think I was 11 years old. For whatever reason, he had rented a pickup truck. And he took my siblings and me and some of our friends to the Phantom Menace Star Wars movie, and we sat in the back of the pickup truck, which again in the 90s, not a huge deal. Like people would do that. That's how we got to the movie. Except in the back of this pickup truck was a ton of sand. I guess he was doing some sort of sand project.
Interesting.
I think maybe he was like making a pond in our backyard. And that's why he had the pickup truck in the sand. I don't know. Maybe he was burying a body. Who's to say? And the sand was just whipping around, like on the ride to the movie. It was miserable. We had to put our shirts over our heads. We couldn't see anything. And then we're also like, so when you couldn't see anything, when there'd be a turn and you're in the back of a pickup truck as an 8-year-old, you just go flying. So, it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best decision, Father. But you know what? He needed to get us to see the Phantom Menace. And how else are you going to get 6 kids there in a pickup truck?
I mean, you know what? I applaud him as a father for knowing the situation that was going on and saying, you know what? These kids' fun is put over safety right now. Like, like the fun is what's most important.
I think we were like banging on the back window, like, we can't see. It's too much sand. Although I think like sand was prevalent in the movie, so it was actually just a bit of a 3D experience for us.
You guys were like
picking sand out of our underwear as we were in the movie. I bet they were so confused in the theater while there was so much sand in these seats.
They were like, guys, these guys dressed up.
They went all out here. All right, this is a classic Kentucky roll call episode. Producer Matt just getting totally off the wall. I agree with producer Matt. That is a good Mickey impersonation. Well, thank you. I think you all are being entirely too kind. A texter says on the Game Day Men's Health text line, I think the bigger issue is the fact that he has Bud Light Lime in his fridge in the first place. Scoots, honey, I love you, but, and that's from our friend Joe Lee in Wisconsin. We love that, Joe Lee. Thanks for texting in. I didn't know they still made Bud Light Lime, if I'm being totally honest. And I've been mostly out of the drinking game.
I feel like the Bud Light Lime, and I know they had Bud Light Oranges too. I feel like those really sparked the whole like extremely flavored like beer craze and like seltzer craze, because my friends used to drink them when we were younger too. And I remember one night we were all like, I think we were at like Gatlinburg or whatever, and we had only Bud Light Limes, and I woke up the next morning after drinking so many, and I had like literal sores in my mouth from how the acidity of it.
Well, one thing I can tell you is Budweiser isn't being the first on anything. They're following. So when they got into the lime game, it's because they felt like, all right, it's our turn now. Everybody else has done it. We need to get into it. The only thing that maybe and even this isn't original. Have you ever had a Bud Ice?
No.
Okay, you need to have some of those. You like boozing?
A little bit, some here and there.
You like sucking back some of Grandpa's old cough medicine?
Can't say that.
That's just a reference to booze.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What is it?
Oh my gosh, this looks like truck stop beer.
Is that something against Mary, or is that the other one? Me, Myself, and Irene. I don't know. It's a quote from one of those 2 movies. Both great movies, by the way. Yeah, Bud Ice. That'll put some hair on your chest, producer Matt. If you're really trying to get weird and get after it, that'll do it.
This is one of those that like
and then there's Natty Ice.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is one of those like a Natty Ice that when you showed up to the pregame, your friend was like, "Don't worry, guys, I'll bring the beer."
And it was Natty Ice.
And I was like, "You could have just asked us for money, man. Like we could have Venmo'd you or something."
Oh, what were some of the worst beers we would have in college? Natty Ice was up there. Pretty much anything. I mean, just any Natty. And that they were everywhere because it was the cheapest by a wide margin, seemingly.
For a long time, I feel like Busch Light was up there, and then they made a resurgence.
Busch Light as well. Yeah, so Busch Light's like that's actually kind of good, right?
Yeah, like I actually don't mind it. The Busch Light apples, oh, man. That is the greatest beer I've ever drank in my life.
And wouldn't be a roll call episode without mentioning farts, but PBR and farts.
Oh,
Peanut butter and jelly.
oh my Jesus!
It's nuts, producer Matt. Do they have that effect on you?
I am not a PBR fan. I think those are foul.
They're like, you feel country when you're drinking.
Oh, those are
PBR.
ones that like you
You
go out
feel
with-
rural. You can be in the most urban area and you crack open a PBR and you just feel like you're probably going to hear an outhouse.
Those are ones that like you and your buddies go out. And I worked at a place at the bar for a pretty extensive time. That every time I heard somebody order one, I had to like take a second glance and see what they look like. Like out of all the other options, that's what we're picking, man.
That's my lake beer. If I'm going to the lake, if I'm going to be stuck in a cabin with a bunch of dudes, I'm going to want to make sure I'm going to be well gassed up
You're
for
just
it.
letting them loose.
Yep. It does seem like when and I haven't been to the lake in forever now, which is sad, but it does seem like anytime I go to a lake, PBR is involved for whatever reason. All right. We are not talking about anything serious right now, and I can't say for certain that's going to change. We're going to read more of your text on the Game Day Men's Health text line. We will give you some gambling picks on the Allen Electric picks of the week. This is Kentucky Roll Call. Billy Shrinks Friday. Producer Matt. final segment, Billy Shring's Friday Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio. Producer Matt and I am TJ Walker. We are streaming back on YouTube. Kentucky Roll Call is, and producer Matt has done a fantastic job on the stream. It is chaotic. There's a lot to look at. There's a lot going on. I tweeted out the link if you want, and this will probably be a trend moving forward. We'll have we'll be doing the YouTube streams when we're on remotes. It makes it a little tougher, so maybe not every single day the rest of our lives, but we'll hopefully next week hit the ground running on the YouTube stream. Get your text into the Game Day Men's Health text line 502-414-1450. All right, where do you want to go here, producer Matt? I did want to bring up the Wofford story. Big Blue Bud briefly mentioned that Jeff Goodman's first story on On3 ended up being incorrect, which is fitting for Jeff Goodman.
Did it, like, I saw that some people were talking about that it was incorrect, but then I saw some other people saying that it was correct. I was kind of confused. Like, I read the original story. Who announced that it was incorrect?
The NCAA came out
and
said, we did not suspend anybody. We didn't force a school to fire a coach. That's not true. We didn't have any of that. So the NCAA kind of came back on that reporting and said that's not the case. But Jeff Goodman said unidentified players. So what happened was players were on campus but then moved off campus, and when they were off campus, they were still allowed to use their on-campus meal plans. So the improper benefits range from $84 to $108. Jeff Goodman said because those were improper benefits, impermissible benefits, that they were suspended via the NCAA. And the NCAA came out and said that's not accurate. The NCAA did not suspend student-athletes at Wofford and did not take any action against the school's athletic department personnel at the school. Of course, Wofford fired Dwight Perry. That was about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And we all thought that timing, we knew that timing is bizarre, that there had to be more to the story. Wofford was just in the NCAA tournament. And you're letting go of the coach that got you there, that right in the middle, or right before, a month before the season is in full swing.
I feel like there's just something really fishy about the whole situation. So, like, are none of the players suspended at all? Like, not even from the university? Like,
Wofford's not saying nothing.
Because something has to be going on. Like you said, they don't just fire Dwight Perry off out of nowhere, and then when this story drops out, the NCAA is like, we didn't do that.
It does feel like this should probably be a bigger story. Either Wofford or the NCAA is lying. Either Wofford suspended these players without... And here's what I think happened. I think Wofford said, hey, we're suspending you, and we're firing Dwight Perry for these violations. And truthfully, for Wofford, do they want to fire Dwight Perry for whatever reason? Were they going to have to pay him more money or something like that because they made the NCAA tournament and Wofford isn't serious about sports? So, like, oh, no, this is actually going to cost us. This is going to hurt us. So any excuse we can use to get rid of this dude, maybe we can find it. Oh, he did some shady dealings with housing. All right, well, that's enough to let him go. That's an NCAA violation. And just to show how serious this is that we had to fire the coach, well, we got to suspend the players too because it's NCAA violations, and we're going to get in trouble if we don't do these things. So let's self-impose, blame it on the NCAA, and bada boom, bada bing.
But even then, like, I almost think that, like, the way because I'm looking at the tweet the NCAA made, it's just weird that they worded it like they didn't say that nothing is true in this, or that they just said the NCAA did not suspend student athletes in the school and did not take any action against any athletic department personnel at this school. Like, they just said that it's their part in this is not accurate. So it just leads me to believe, like you said, somebody's lying, and it seems like if the NCAA is telling the truth, is Wofford.
I guess I don't know. The hard part with this is, why aren't those people just coming out and saying, like, all right, it's not the NCAA. It's Wofford doing this. Wofford is suspending us. Wofford fired this coach because why, you know, the players are in unison. 12 of the 15 players have said that they will transfer if Dwight Perry's not reinstated. So Wofford has a whole bigger issue on their hands. Maybe not having a basketball team, and the season starts in a month. I don't know why those players wouldn't come out and just say, listen, you all, Wofford was wrong to fire their coach. They're basically doing that, right? They're basically saying that because they're saying we're going to leave if you don't bring Perry back. So we disagree with this decision to fire him. But I don't know why they wouldn't put their school on blast and say, like, hey, this isn't an NCAA thing at all. Yeah, the NCAA has rules, but this would be a slap on the wrist for us. The NCAA wouldn't do anything serious because we were still on a dormitory meal plan. They would have maybe given us a probation period. Maybe there'd be like a recruiting stipulation or something. Maybe we'd have to pay back the money. The $84 to $102, whatever it was.
See, I
don't know why the players aren't putting Wofford on blast more.
I am actually on Wofford's side in this. That I think the NCAA is being weird about this. Like with everything that how much heat they've been under this season, just with like the Michigan stuff, the Akron stuff, like, and obviously in the history with UNC and the skipping, like everything that's been going on the past like decade of sports, they're under so much heat. Like I fully want to believe the conspiracy that they didn't believe this would be as big of news as it is, and then as soon as it came out, everybody was on it, they just back out of it. They're like, nope, wasn't us, fully on Wofford. Like, we did nothing. Why would we suspend people for $84? And it's like, well, because you're ridiculous. Like, this almost seems like a failed power trip.
That seems a little unfair to the NCAA to just call them ridiculous when they didn't do anything. And then to blame them for, like, yeah, but you may have possibly done something in the future. It's like, all right, well, no, that doesn't work for me like that. The NCAA has ridiculous rules, and maybe Wofford felt forced to have to do these things. But the reason why you can't take Wofford's side, and unfortunately, producer Matt, the reason that I ultimately do disagree with you, is they fired the dude that got you to the NCAA tournament. And yeah, he happens to have some UK ties, so maybe I'm a little Lynn biased there. But you're Wofford, and you went to the NCAA tournament. And then it's a month before the season, and you're firing Dwight Perry? Now, maybe there's something more to the story with Perry.
That is the shady part of this, because
maybe there is.
Now, they did finish 19-16, which is not great. Like, it's not a great season at all. But like you said, they did win the Southern Conference, so they got into the NCAA tournament. So they ended up losing to Tennessee in the first round, so whatever. But it wasn't a great season by any means for them. For the Terriers.
I don't know. You go to the NCAA tournament as a mid-major, it's a great season.
It is, but like, so if they were to have fired him like a couple months back and be like, "Hey, we love that you got us there, but we kind of want to see some more development in the season," then like it still would be shady. But I guess that would make sense. Like that's an actual reason. Firing him this like late into like the off season, this close to the upcoming season, makes no sense to me. So that's part where I'll agree with you.
Maybe there's more to it, but. Interesting stuff, and the NCAA at least coming out and saying we didn't force anybody to do nothing. So fix your story, Jeff Goodman. 502-414-1450, the Game Day Men's Health text line. We're going to need some football music in the background for our pick segment. Sometimes we do You Got the Power since it's Allen Electric. So just as a heads up to your producer, Matt, producing.
I can get that ready.
On the fly. We are going to get some picks. In the meantime, let's read a couple more texts. 502-414-1450, Game Day Men's Health text line. Texter says, it's amazing that Pope can pick a player up from the airport but can't make it on time for the visit, says one texter. Maybe he was late to the airports, too. Who's really to say?
Is this song by War? You Got the Power?
Yeah, that sounds all right.
Okay.
Guess we'll find out on the fly.
We'll find out.
Going back to that text on the Game Day Men's Health text line, it is interesting that Pope, like, I don't know, it's just kind of funny to me. At like midnight, you've got a group of, how old's Pope? In his 50s. You got some people in their 40s just driving around downtown Atlanta. Like, all right, we got to get to this recruit's house. Hurry, we got to get there. Maybe Pat's going to beat us inside if we don't get there in time. It's all just so silly to me. And then they didn't get there in time, or maybe Pat Kelsey got there a little before he was supposed to get there, and they just get so mad about it. No, it's all so dumb, really. But it's
the
amazing.
story is almost better because we know so little about it. Like it's just entirely up to interpretation.
Just like, well, I think we actually have a pretty good feeling for how it all went down and what happened. The thing that is totally up to interpretation is what was said, which, to your point, is the altercation, right? Them just walking by each other isn't the altercation. It's what was said, and that's what we're not privy to and never really will be, unfortunately. But it's like when it was initially reported, and it probably was overblown, that they nearly came to blows. All right, maybe they didn't nearly come to blows, but it's pretty clear and now confirmed through various outlets, but even the initial reporting, that, like, words were exchanged. So what were the words? I would like to think Pat Kelsey would be like, a school that's had so much NCAA trouble, you breaking the rules going in before midnight. I don't know about that. Because I could see Pat getting pissed about that. If Mark alluded to U of L's past.
I don't think Mark Pope would do that, though.
I don't think so either. I don't think anything would bother him. I don't think like Pat going in there before him would have set him off. I'm surprised that got him all worked up. And I'm also surprised that Pat would be offended by him insinuating that they were breaking rules. Like all of this is surprising.
Whenever this dropped, I think it was like 10 a.m. the next day or whatever, and the pictures of Mark Pope and Tay Kenny and then Pat Kelsey, Tay Kenny like released. Even then, I was like, rivalry aside, wouldn't it have been so funny if, since they went in basically the same time, they just took a picture together with him, and then with this story coming out, if that actually happened, gosh, that would be like that.
Would be great.
That might be my wallpaper for the rest of the year.
I think you may have said that on Roll Call, or maybe you said it on another show on Big X Sports Radio. But I think you mentioned like it'd be great if they just recruited Tay Kenny stepbrother style. I think I can help you with the Pam situation.
They're just both in tuxedos. They're like, now I'm understanding the tuxedo's a little weird.
Yeah, I don't think the fart was so funny anymore. Yeah, no, I loved that. But it's a great UK U of L rivalry story, and maybe just what we need to get this spark going between Pat Kelsey and Mark Pope. Let's get some picks going for this weekend. Get you winning some games. Nope, this isn't the song.
This is not it?
No, I'm not thinking of the one from like, I've got power.
Oh, okay.
Do, 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 do. This is kind of groovy, though.
I've never heard this song before.
Me neither, but all right, well. That song you'd never heard before?
The one that I just played.
Yeah, me neither, but it was kind of groovy. Didn't hate it. There we go. That's what we're looking for. All right, it's our pick segment. It's Friday. The weekend is on the horizon. We're excited about all those things. Allen Electric, if you've got a light out, then you need to call Allen Electric, 502-636-HELP. Kentuckiana's first and only electrician dedicated to residential repairs. They're Kentuckiana's favorite electrician, Allen Electric. They'll never leave you in the dark. All right. I haven't gotten a lock pick wrong this weekend. Unfortunately, I had another 1 and 2 weekend. But the one we got right was the lock, so at least there is that. Starting off, Producer Matt, do you have any picks, by the way?
I'm looking through it right now.
Okay.
So if you want to start out, I can follow up.
Yeah. All right, well, my first one, I'll keep it local, keep it here in town. I'm going to go ahead. I don't think U of L has any trouble with Bowling Green. I don't think this is a game in the fourth quarter. I can't believe Pudge the Cat is coming to my town, though, and I wasn't able to get him on the show for an interview.
The dude is credentialed, TJ.
He's big time. He's way
got a
too big
seat in the
time
press
for
box.
Kentucky roll call, unfortunately. But Eddie George and Bowling Green, the Falcons, I don't think it's going to be a close game for U of L, but I do like Bowling Green over 12.5 points. And I know Louisville held James Madison to 14, but they've got a big hole to fill on the defense, unfortunately, with the injury to Clark. However, 12.5. 12.5. James Madison got over it. Eastern Kentucky got over it. Louisville and Cincinnati statistically have similar defenses, and Bowling Green was able to put up 20 points on Cincinnati. So 12.5, we're talking just 2 touchdowns. I could see garbage time. I could see maybe even before halftime potentially.
So you're going alternate line?
Miller Moss throws another pick. Yeah. Well, that's what I had for the team. That's what I had for their over under.
Oh, the over under. I thought you were. I was like spread. I was like I'm pretty sure it's.
No.
That makes
team
sense. Okay.
Points.
Yeah.
Bowling Green over 12.5 points. You can get that number at -110.
Okay. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
So I think they get over 12.5. That's my first pick. Feel pretty good about it. Go ahead and take Bowling Green over 12.5 points.
My pick, TJ, for this week, I know that eyes are really on the Indiana-Illinois game, especially with Scoots. My pick I actually think this could be the game of the week, and that's Texas Tech and Utah. I really like this Texas Tech team. I think I in my opinion, think that this is the team to this. They are the team to lose the Big 12. It's them and then everybody else trying to get to the championship game. I'm taking them plus 3.5 against Utah this weekend.
Wow.
It's at Utah.
I thought that line was a little stinky. Why isn't Utah more of a favorite? I would think maybe 6-ish, somewhere in that ballpark, just shy of a touchdown. So you may be onto something. Maybe it stinks because it's gonna be a real close one and maybe not go Utah's way.
This might be one of those games where whoever's up at halftime, you just live bet the loser at that point and just see some fireworks go off in the second half. But I got him plus 3.5.
All right. For my second pick for this weekend, Allen Electric picks of the week, producer Matt and TJ Walker. Go ahead and give me Ole Miss given 11.5. I know this is a tricky game. Tulane's good. We all love Summerall, but Ole Miss has done a good job getting ready for this one, and they're just more talented and they're just better. So they'll be ready for Tulane. Tulane's not gonna sneak up on them. Go ahead and take Ole Miss given 11.5. Allen Electric picks of the week.
I don't mind that one. I don't mind that one at all.
Well, good. Do you have a second one? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
No, you're good. I'm looking. I'm actually my second pick, and this is, I'm not going to lie, TJ, it's kind of a degenerate pick.
Love it. All the better.
I'm taking two of the worst offenses I've ever seen in the history of football. I'm taking Iowa at Rutgers under 46.5.
I love that. That's a great bet.
Me and my friend.
That's going to win.
Me and my best friend were riding the Iowa under a lot last year because I think they had 3 weeks in a row. They had the lowest unders in the history of football. And we lost our last one because it was the Iowa Rutgers game.
Oh, so you're going back for revenge.
I'm going back for revenge. We lost it because Iowa threw a pick 6 to Rutgers in the fourth quarter and they hit the over on that. So I'm riding it again. I can't go out on a loss.
Okay, I love it. I really do genuinely love that. I'm going to bet that. I didn't realize that number was where that's at. So I like that. That's a great pick, producer Matt. All right, my lock of the week. You ready to lock it up?
Ready to lock it up.
Lock it up. I am taking the Florida Gators plus 8.5. DJ Lagway coming off 6 interceptions at LSU. Miami has been really probably the flavor of the year so far in this early college football season at 3-0 with an exciting, dramatic win over Notre Dame in week 1 and then blowing out the Bulls, who have been America's sweetheart, including a win over Florida. Florida wishes they beat the Bulls 49-12. This Florida defense is really, really, really good. And at times, Carson Beck, he struggled against Notre Dame. I think you're going to see a big Beck struggle game. And I like Florida maybe to win outright if you're feeling a bit froggy there. But I definitely expect Carson Beck to struggle and for Miami to not cover 8.5. That is entirely too large of a number. This is going to be a field goal game. And again, if you're feeling froggy, go ahead and take that Florida money line if you want. They are at plus 270, but I'm going to take the points. Plus 8.5. Give me the Gators.
8.5 isn't bad.
That's a big number.
That's a big number.
For a rivalry game.
Yeah, like a rivalry game, like you said. Top ACC team against a SEC team that's trying to get back on their feet. They're definitely going to fight back. I have to say that I think Miami takes this game, but I don't mind the points. I don't mind the points at all. 8.5 is a good
It'll be a good one. My friends, this is consecutive weeks they've been wrong about the excitement level of the college football slate. Last week I thought was a great college football slate. This week it's not as good. I will admit that. However, Texas Tech Utah at noon that's a fun game. That's a good game.
I think they're dispersed better this week.
They are. Like you can get to 11 p.m. or midnight or even like 2 a.m. if you wanted to and have good football to watch consecutively. Now, maybe not at every hour are you flipping back between like 3 great games. but it is spaced out pretty well. At noon, again, like I mentioned, that Texas Tech-Utah game. Is that a 10 a.m. start?
It says noon on DraftKings, but I think that is 10 a.m.
That would be 10 a.m. in Utah. That's crazy. First off, I would love a 10 a.m. football game, but if we're going for one of your biggest games of the year, maybe not the most ideal time for that. But you give me a cupcake at 10 a.m., I think that's a genius idea. Make it like a family day, bring out the kids. Would be a lot of fun.
I think it's malpractice that we have Texas, Sam Houston at night, but that game's at noon.
It's true. Auburn, Oklahoma at 3:30. That'll be fun. Tulane, Ole Miss also at 3:30. Michigan, Nebraska also at 3:30. So 3:30 slate you're going to be taken care of. Good games there. South Carolina, Missouri at 7. And we've already talked a little bit about that 7 o'clock slate. Florida, Miami, 7:30. Illinois, Indiana, 7:30. None of us got that game. Indiana given 6.5. I really like Illinois to cover 6.5.
I don't mind that. I think that it's going to be a really, really close game.
A lot of people are saying an Illinois-Florida money line would feed families. Do you agree with that?
I mean, there's some juice. Like, it would literally feed families, yes. I think Indiana pulls away in that game late, though.
You do?
I generally do. I think it's going to come down to like a 27-17, but it's close the whole game.
All right, if you took Illinois money line, Florida money line, and over 12.5 for Bowling Green, because that's hitting too, plus 20.44.
How much does that go down if you don't add Florida money line?
If you don't add Florida money line?
Because I'm gonna go on a limb and say that's most of the juice there.
It goes down to plus 479.
Okay, that makes sense.
But hey, Illinois plus 210 and Florida's plus 270. So it's really if you just choose one of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's gonna hit. Feel good about it. $20 bet at plus 20.44 is just shy of $430. So that would be pretty neat. All right, a couple more texts here to end the show. Normally we'll make our UK predictions, but no game today. A texter says, if they did scuffle, Pope wouldn't come away with any face bruises, maybe some knee bruises.
It is true. Pat Kelsey would definitely be at a disadvantage in this
people
matchup.
Forget, I mean, he did go get the dude in a headlock during a game. Like, people are acting like this is their first sort of like sour interaction, and maybe I've said that or acted like it. But they did, when you had that Brandon Garrison moment during the UK U of L game last year, you did have, that's one thing I don't like about Mark Pope. Maybe the only thing I don't like about Mark Pope is his ability. Like, he always feels like he has to be peacekeeper when there's an altercation. And it's really going to lead to something bad. I had that take last year. But, like, the fact he was in U of L's huddle and over on their bench and their sideline, I get the games at Rupp, but he just needs to kind of chill out there. But it did lead to Pat Kelsey being put in a headlock. People forget that. And now he's been cucked out of Tay Kinney's own home. It's not a good look for Pat Kelsey. Have a great weekend, everybody. Big shout out and thanks to producer Matt, Big Blue Bud for joining the show today. I am TJ Walker. We'll be back Monday. Go Pack Go.